Okay, I'm back. So the thing I was explaining is we can do the regroup tactic where we reduce the flight limit by 1, and so we would only have 5 turns, and then we would get 8. We get to add 8 tactical points, which is a huge number. I'm not going to do that because our flight limit is very low. If our flight limit was like up in the 10 area, I think this would be a great idea. But I'm not going to do that. So we're going to move into high bomber area. We actually don't have very long. We're on turn 3 out of 6. So we got to do our damage now. And so we're going to do approach there, and then all of these guys are going to approach there. And we have some sun markers. I'll get out. So we're gonna have some folks protected by the sun. And we are now at the, so we're going through here. Blast and flak is before cohesion. So blast and flak occurs right now, and that is a new step we don't really do very often. So we're going to drop some bombs, and that is always a good time. So I'm just trying to find the player aid for dropping bombs, which I found right here. Okay, so just to recap, first we have to check to see if the bomb completely misses. It is a the best chances are with the Ju-88, but the Bf-110, it's a 50-50 chance of missing. And then of course, if we would have done this with the Bf-109 or something else, it would have been a, I'm sorry, it's 50-50 with any other plane. With the Bf-110, we have a 60% chance of succeeding, 40% for missing. And then once we get past this phase, then we determine where the bomb actually detonates. And from there, we determine if there's still a 40% chance that no damage even happens at all. And in fact, it's, I think, higher than 40% because of the way the dice roll works. You always use the lower number to determine, you roll 2 dice, the higher number determines this, the lower number determines this. Well, these are the lower numbers, so it's really hard for 9 to be the lower number. You'd have to roll a 10 and a 9 to get this perfect shot here. So usually, though, we could at least get in here, and that's good. And even if there's no damage, it still does, causes the formation to fall apart. So I won't belabor it. I just wanted to go over it real quick. And that's our dilemma, or our mission. And like I said, we're not going to do this group even though they're juicy. I'm looking. See, this guy benefits from an anchored tail, and so do these guys. So I think I want to take out that group up there. We're going to bomb. And I can choose to go after 2 different groups. So see how there's 8 of them? I can choose to send 2 here and 1 there and 1 over there. But it's been my experience that you want to just rock the crap out of one spot. At least 50% of these are going to miss. And so the only thing I'm debating is, do I want to do 4 here and 4 somewhere else? I am at a... I have a dilemma. Oh boy, I'm not gonna dwell on this too much. Okay, I'm gonna grab some tokens here. We're gonna do 4 there and 4 here. So there's 8 of them total, and we're just gonna send, like the red group there and the other group here. This may be a stupid decision. I may be overestimating how many hits I'm going to get. I've had times where I've sent all 8 in one element and barely made a dent. But remember, I was getting that one rule wrong, so that's why I'm compensating here. But so I'm going to take the bomb tokens away because they are a single-use item, and they're gone. And most tokens have to stay on, and if you're doing aerial combat, they count against you. I am notorious for forgetting about this, but the bombs, after you release them, no longer count. So you can get rid of those tokens. If you had some other token, like a cannon or whatever, or even rockets, they count. So they stay on the fighter, even if they've been used. Okay, so with that said, let's go. We'll start with the closer group here, and it's 2 dice. Here, we'll just check real quick. Go to step 1B, and yeah, we're just going to roll 1 die. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to roll 2 dice at a time because I basically have to roll for all 4 of these. And it doesn't matter which one's which because we're not determining where they hit yet. We're just determining if they miss or if they blast. And we want a blast, so 5 to 10. So I got a hit and a miss. So I'm going to set one aside because it's going to hit, and then this one is a miss, so it actually completely goes out of the game. So it doesn't do anything. That's why we want some blasts. And I'm going to roll for the last 2. And same deal. So 2 of them are going to hit, and then this one's going away. Okay. So now I'm going to go to those 4 and do the same thing. I got a hit here, and then this one is another hit. So we have 2 of them so far hitting. And then the last 2, that's a hit, and that is a miss. So we have 3 hits up there, and then this one goes away. Okay, so now we have to slow down a little bit, and we have to do this. So just as a refresher, we're going to roll 2 dice, and if the black is the higher number, we're going to use these black numbers to determine where the bomb exploded. If the red is the higher number, we're going to use these numbers. If we roll a double, it's a complete miss, so it's just as bad as missing up here. So doubles stink. We don't want doubles. And then after we determine where it's hitting, the lower die of the 2 is going to be used against this chart, and you need at least a 5 for your, so you want really high numbers. You want 2 really high numbers that are not identical. If you roll 2 10s, by the way, that sounds awesome, but it's not good. You want a 10 and a 9 or a 10 and an 8. Those are what you want. So doubles are very, very, very bad. So there's no guarantee that we're going to get hits yet. There is a possibility that they will miss, but we're going to do these one at a time. So we're going to start with this section first, and I'm just going to set them over here in the low box, and then we'll figure out where they go. All right. So we got a 10 and a 5. I can tell you without even looking that this is a wonderful roll. It's not the best you can get, but it's a good one, a very good one. Okay, so a red 10 is up here. So that would be in front of there, and it's going to detonate. And the 5 means we actually did a damage to the bomber. So we hit its wing, and I'm going to go ahead and roll this black die here. Okay, I rolled a 4. So really nice wing damage. That one is already up to 7. I think we may have figured out one of our juicy targets we're going to go after. Okay, now we're going to do the other one. Okay, a 5 and a 4. I can tell you this is a miss. So the bomb's going to do no damage to the bombers, but it's at least going to detonate, which is good. And the 5 is way over here. So even if it would have detonated, it wouldn't have hit anything because it's not near any planes. But it is, so let's, if there's 3 of them, it would be 2 behind this guy. So this is very important because there's only 3, and so it's 1, 2. it's actually going to detonate over here. And this is important because look, this is a new element. So we dropped a bomb on this element and it's actually going to blow up on a different element. So it's actually going to cause a cohesion issue over here, not over here. And I sort of like that. That is actually an interesting result. So maybe another lesson learned. We want to drop bombs on groups that have stuff behind it. But okay, so this element is done. Now we're going to go do this element, which has 3 targets. I will once again move them down here to this box. And let's go. All right, there's doubles, and that stinks. So we just lost one. That was a good roll. If it wasn't for the doubles. That is an excellent roll. Oh my gosh. Okay, 10 and 7. Again, it's the 10. So we're going to detonate here. But the 7 is what has me excited. Look at that. 2 hits. 2. Not 1, but 2. Okay, we do them one at a time. That one we just flip. And then this one is a wing. I'm going to roll the red die here. Okay, it didn't happen. So we flip that over. So that bomber's got a lot of nice damage tokens on him. I like it. And then we got one more. A 6 and a 3. Well, the 3 is a miss, I can tell you that. But the 6 might be pretty good. And it might not. So it's a red 6, so it's way over here. The black 6 is better. Okay, so from the lead bomber's perspective, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 back behind him. We don't have a 4th bomber, so that's why you have to do a relative thing here. So 1, 2, 3 from the lead. So this may be bad for us. Because see, this one doesn't have anybody behind him. And if you go 1, 2, and then the third one is completely off the map, this actually disappears. So that was a crappy outcome. Had I picked this group, I would have gone 1, 2, 3, and it would have blasted here. And that would have been the smarter move. From now on, when you do bombs, folks, those of you watching this video and still looking for strategy, we just learned one right here. Drop bombs on the lead formation, and then, because they have a potential of hitting the elements behind them. And we just made a critical mistake there by going after that formation up there. It would have been just as good going after this one. But lesson learned, we're on mission 1. I'm having a good time. I hope you are as well. And that is the blast and flak phase. So now we go to cohesion, which a lot of things are going to happen on this one. So we'll start with this group down here. There is 3. There's 3. Okay, so we passed the cohesion check, but this detonation comes off the board and it guarantees that the group degrades. So we have a fallen for this particular element. So that's very good. So now we go over here. They also have 3. They pass, but this detonation is going to do the same thing. That group just went loose. That one only has 1. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they pass, but again, oh, look at that, I put a fallen in there. It's loose, not fallen. For those of you that are screaming, I heard you. Okay, and then this comes off. All right, so I like this because the bombs, even though they didn't do a whole lot of damage, they loosen the elements up. So now my planes are going to get to do their attacks, and they now have lower lethality in their approaches. So this is still working out very, very nicely. And now I have to determine my waves. I'm going to do a 6-person wave with the FW190s paired up with those 4. And I need to decide where. I've been so busy worrying about these bombs, I haven't figured out where yet. I love this one because it has 7 damage. I really believe that I can take him out and destroy him outright. It's a loose element, so this is a 2 and that's a 1, which is very nice. And if you're coming in from this side, this is a 1 and that's a 1, also very nice. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put Buttfargen here. And then I want to check. Kremler is my other guy that has the big skill. Buttfargen and then Kremler. So Kremler is going to go here. And then my other 2 are going to go here. Now here's my logic. These 2 can guarantee that they hit because they have that guaranteed hit skill. It's a one-time use, but I can guarantee I get 1 hit on the bomber. I want to get a hit on these bombers because they're going to be basically going after them by themselves. And but the FW-190s, actually I'm going to do a 5-plane raid or wave. So these 3 are going to be in the next wave, is what I'm trying to say. So those 3 are going to be next wave. And I apologize, they're all together, and I'm trying to do this through looking at my phone. Okay, so the collision check is only going to be in one place. It's going to be right here. And then the FW-190 is going to be evasive, going after this plane. And it's my usual trick to guarantee I get swarm. And I'm coming in high with the FW-190. And everybody else is level. Now, one thing I may want to do is come in with another FW-190 because if this ends up leaving the game because of the cohesion check, it is possible that even in evasive mode that a collision check could cause you to exit the map. If he exits the map, we no longer get the position advantage. So my only thought is I'm going to add this to the attack here. So he's going to come and attack that bomber there. And he's going to come, and he's also high. So I'm going to guarantee that I get the position advantage because there is no collision check on that guy. So yes, I'm probably overthinking this, but that's what we're going to do. Okay, so first things first, are we determined or evasive? These 2 are evasive. Done. Now, where are they going? Okay, I have all these guys coming in from the nose. They're definitely going to get progression, meaning that they're going to have to move. I don't want them to move this way because these are really high numbers. This guy in particular, I don't want to go straight with. So I may want to move him towards the sun. But I don't know if I want to separate them. And remember, if we're going to the tail, we have to go high because they're anchored. So I'm going to go climb for these 2. This one's going to climb, that's a very bad one. That one's bad. That one's bad. I would have to move 2 in order for this one to be good. He'll just climb. And then this one is going to climb roll towards the sun. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is one of these 2 will head towards the tail so I can potentially get a second swarm. I don't know if it's going to matter. I'm almost done with my turns. But let's figure this out and go. I have to do a collision check. That FW-190 right there is going to be the recipient. And look at that, proximity 3, which we could have probably survived. But you know me, I like guaranteeing that we survive, so impact. If evasive mode, treat as no collision. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So the only disadvantage is this doesn't stay on the board, so we throw that out. And I'm going to start with this guy here, because it's a loose element, he is at a 1. And he's coming in level from the nose in direct. Oh, I forgot to award. We have Swarm, we have Rata, and we have Position. So these ones cancel hits. And so we're going to start with this guy here. And we are at the nose level 1, determined, and this is bad. So he's going to take a hit, and he's going to do a collision check. So we will cancel the hit with this. And then he does a collision check. This is what I'm more concerned about. The collision check is a proximity 3, and if determined, immediately roll die. If the number rolled is less than the number printed, a collision occurs. So we want to get a 4 or better. 9. Thank you. Okay, since he was determined, this actually stays. Nothing happens from this card. However, this is Kremler. So Kremler is going to use his mission 1. He's going to use the target ability, which, if you forgot, it's this timing ability. Add a damage to the attack result. So it's just like the Swarm. You know, we get to add 2. He gets to add 1. But that's his own like personal add button. So that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We're going to add, and remember, I have the cannon. So I get to draw 2 and pick 1. So we are at 7 damage, and I want to destroy the plane. I don't want to pursue it. So let's see what we get. Oh, okay. So they're both 10 wings. They're both exactly identical. So we'll just pick 1. And we have to roll for this. I rolled a 5. So he's taking a damage. And progression is 2. So he's going to progress this way and be here with this big group of guys because he's climb rolling. I'm going to use Swarm. I want to finish that. That has 9 damage, and I don't want a cohesion check to cause him to fall out of the group. So I'm going to do one of my Swarms. And remember, I get to draw 2, keep 1. And I'm going for damage here. I don't care about the roll. So like in the basic game, this would be my savior, but I don't want this one because that's 0. That one is a juicy 2. So let's not roll a 10. We rolled a 1, and this one I'm not keeping. So now we flip it over, and we just did 2 damage, and you add it up with all these other ones. 6, 7, that's 11 damage right there. That bomber is destroyed outright. We don't have to pursue it. So we have a destroyed bomber, and Kremler gets, and cross those out, he gets 2 experience points. We get 2 for the staff, and then 1 victory point. Okay, so that was a very long turn, but a very productive one. Okay, next one I want to do is I want to do butt fargan on this guy. So that's once again a nose level, determined, and he's in a 3. This is a 2, and that's a 1. So he's now reduced to a 1. Okay, so lethality 1, level, determined. He takes a hit, he does a hit, and he has a collision check. Well, we'll cancel the hit with this. Okay, the collision check has me nervous, so let's do that. It is a veer. I don't like those. Veer. If determined, roll a die. If the number rolled is less than the number of fighters, it becomes a hit. If equal to or higher, all fighters in the space break away to tail. All fighters, which is awful. But he is by himself, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6. So I rolled a 7, which is not what I wanted. So Butt Fargan is forced to break away to the tail. So we're going to put him there. He did not get to hit anything. He actually, well, actually he did a hit. So I think these get resolved in any order. So the veer, by the way, stays on. So let's get his hit in. Remember, this is all simultaneous. All right, so we have a wing and a fuselage. One or two. Well, that one's way better. So we're gonna roll. And so that puts 2 damage on. He's gonna use his ability. So Buttfargan here, from mission 1, is gonna use his targeting ability to add another hit. All right, so this one I might do. Actually, they're both exactly the same. I'm going to pick the 4. I actually want the bomber to fall because I don't think I'm going to destroy it. And there it is. There's a 7. So the engine damage will combine with this, and we have our first fallen bomber that will need to be pursued. And I'm going to grab a fallen token, put it on. But Fargan gets an experience point for that. And then so do we. The staff gets 1, but no victory points. All right, I like that outcome. That was very good. That means this one doesn't have anybody to hit, and this one doesn't have anybody to hit. So let's do those. No, let's not do those. Not yet. We can do, so my logic is I was going to do him right away, but that 4 became a 3, 2, and a 1. But if this bomber falls, that 4 becomes a 0. So let's do this FW-190 though. So he's coming in high from the oblique. This bomber is no longer there. So his zone is a, man, there's so much stuff here. His zone is a 0. -1 because of the loose element, -1 because of the destroyed bomber. So he's coming in high, it's a 0, he has a collision check, and he progresses 3. And I didn't say what those guys were doing, did I? No, I didn't. Well, I know for sure I wouldn't go towards the high numbers. So like flying straight across would not have worked. I would have moved them towards the rear, so let's do that. So 1, 2, and then he would stop there. And you can get rid of these. When they're done, you don't need those anymore. So this guy, for example, doesn't need his. It's a nice way of knowing who's gone and who hasn't. So that goes. Okay, so we got a lot of weirdness here. He did a hit. Or I'm sorry, yeah, he did a hit, but there's nothing to hit. But he has to do a collision check. No, he's evasive. He's evasive. Ooh, I gotta remember this stuff. Okay, nothing happened for him. So now we have 2 guys here going after this, and they are in a 0 zone. Because we verified that that's a 2. Somewhere in here is the 2, right there. See that 2? That 2 is subtracted because of these 2. This one already took his turn. He's returning. So we will start with, they're both experts, but they don't have the ability to just magically create hits. But we do have 1 Schwarm left. So we'll just start with the closest one. We're going to draw 2 nose cards. They're both coming in nose level 0 direct. Nose level 0 direct. So he did no damage at all, but he progresses 2. And that's fine. We knew that that was going to happen. So he'll progress to there. We'll take that off. It was actually the other guy. So now I have to decide if I'm going to use my Schwarm. And my answer is yes. I mean, I got to use it eventually, and it's going to either be this guy or the next guy. So we might as well let him get a hit in. He does have cannons, so we're drawing 2. That does 1 damage, that does 3 damage. So we're gonna roll. And of course I get a 9. That is so weird. Okay, so I wasn't expecting that. So it's fallen. And that was who? Zweigert. Zweigert gets an experience point for that. And so do we. And no victory points. Okay, so then the next guy is nose level 0. Nose level 0, his weapon jams. And the jam is there. So basically with the jam, I gotta roll an even or I can't hit anymore. So I can still do attacks, but there's a potential, like if I roll an odd, then like let's say he was doing this hit up here. If I rolled an odd, that hit wouldn't count. If I rolled an even, it would. So the jam isn't the end of the world, but it's also not the best thing in the world either. Okay, so that bomber fell on its first hit. So we're gonna put that over here and there, like so. Okay, by the way, rule check. I did write on BGG and the developer himself responded. Remember that situation where we had fighters in the same exact space as the bomber, and I was wondering if that fighter could intercept the bomber. The answer is absolutely yes, even if the fighter went into that space before the bomber did. The designer said you don't figure out which bomber you're pursuing until this mission ends and you go to the pursuit phase. And even though the fighter was initially going to pursue somebody else, he can change his mind. And that was thematically how he explained it. So this entire element is gone, so it goes to kaput. These would matter if we did a cohesion check, but there's nothing to check anymore, and they're all gone. So I'm just going to put them back in the box. We have one more fighter here to resolve. It's the FW190, and this last guy, by the way, progressed 2, so he would go 1 like that. Those are both climbing. All right, so we're gonna grab an oblique. Okay, so he's coming in high. He progresses 2, and he's gonna do the same thing. He's gonna go to the tail. So he goes to here, and then these, I'm just taking these off. He would have hit, but the good news is he doesn't get hit. Or actually, he would not have hit. He's evasive, but it doesn't matter. Yep, we're done. So now we got to do continuing fire for 5 planes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the first one, we'll just do these 2 FW190s. We got to roll a die. It's odd. Skip continuing fire and break away now. No problem. And the sun comes off. And I moved him up there, because remember, we can't return low. Okay, so next one. Confused. If he's green, blah, blah, blah. He's not green. But here's where it's odd. He's an evasive, and he takes a hit. Now, the good news is he has the sun, so the sun just cancels the hit. So they're both evasive, so they would actually return to this box back here in the back. And that's fine. Totally cool with that. All right, next one, we'll do these 2. We'll start with this guy. Okay, they're both climbing, and this is a 0, so he takes nothing. Thank goodness. So he returns. Next one. Climbing at 0, so he also returns. And then we have this last guy who's coming this way. And debris, we need to roll. I got an odd. The fighter is hit. So this is Kremler. And Kremler will use his luck to avoid the hit. So both of his skills are gone. And he returns to the high box. And we'll get these tokens off and put these away. All right. So we still have more to do. We have 2 more guys attacking from the oblique. This is already gone. These are really juicy, but coming from the oblique, those are really high numbers. I don't know if I want to do that. This one here has low numbers, so it's more attractive. And then this one here has high numbers. So here's my thinking. If I'm going to go high numbers, it's going to be this one, because those are more juicy. This one, though, is the safest route, but I'm going to have damage like everywhere, and I don't have that many turns left. So distributing damage to random places everywhere is not going to help my cause. I am coming in from the sun, so I can avoid a hit, especially if I'm in evasive mode. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go evasive mode for both of these guys there, and they both have the sun, and they're both going to roll towards the nose, and they're going to dive. So we're going to go low towards the nose. So they're going to dive roll towards the nose. I know they're not flipped over, but they're evasive. I'm saying that for the record. And because they're evasive, I'm not going to get any attack advantages, so I don't need to worry about anything there. So we're just going to grab some cards. Then we'll do the leftmost guy first. So we are in a 2 because it's a loose element, so he's in a 2. But he's coming from the high, so he's in a 3. This says +1 high, so we have to add +1. So 3 high evasive is a hit on him, and no, he would have done a hit otherwise. So the sun goes away. That protects him from the hit, and then he progresses 2, so he's going to move that way. So now we got the other guy. That one's in a 2 zone. 2 high evasive. He takes a hit, so the sun goes away. And he only progresses 1, so he's going to end up in this really high zone. So they didn't do squat. And now we have 2 continuing fires. And I'm a little nervous. Okay, so we'll do the leftmost one. He's in a zone that's a 1. So they are not climbing into the sun, but the 1 zone is free. So he makes it back. He's going to return. Now this guy is in a 3 zone because he gets a +1 because he was high, but a -1 because of the element being loose. They're diving, so we don't have to add. And so he is in a 3, but he's evasive, so nothing happens. And I just realized I put them in the wrong box, so I'm going to move them down to there. Okay, well, that could have been worse. So we finally end our turn. We go to turn 4. Okay, so those BF-110s are all raring and ready to go. They can do attacks and everything, and they can even pursue bombers. So there's a lot going on, and they can actually go anywhere from this box. For those of you not familiar with this, it's written right on here. To any high position is 0 TP. So we can go nose high, we can actually go here. But if I want to do swarm, which these guys are qualified to do, I'm going to go nose high for them in both spots. And the reason I'm doing that is because these guys are going to be tail high. So they come forward like so. And these 2 are going to come forward. And these 2 come forward. Okay, so that's the entire move step. This one comes forward. All right. And then looking at this, I do cohesion now. So I don't need to worry about this. This one is a 3. Okay, and then we go up here, take this off. That one is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, nothing happens there, and that's still a 1. Okay, mission turn goes to 5. The one more turn and then it ends. So remember, the developer said if we exit now, we can get some targets. So I'm going to do that with, so both of these guys are going to exit right now. If anything, to pursue these 2 bombers, which I think are not guaranteed kills. So they're both going to need actual pursuit. So those 2 are going to exit. And then these guys are going to go in for a swarm. And this one's going to help them with that swarm. The problem is they're all high. And the only problem that creates is that we just won't get a position advantage. But we can still get swarm. This one is also going to help with the swarm. But can he? That's the question. I don't think he can. And what I mean by helping with the swarm is that he would be that guy that helps me to avoid the collision check problem. The problem is they're coming from the nose. So you need, it's like, for example, this is a perfect situation. If you're coming from the nose, you're attacking this guy, and this one's coming from the side to attack that guy. So therefore, they can all be in the same space, and then you can do that trick to avoid the collision check. Well, this guy's coming from the tail. So you have to come up with a position where these guys, the other guys are attacking from the nose, and he's attacking from the tail, and yet they're somehow in the same space. There is no situation on here where you get to do that. You can come here from the tail, but these are the 3 nose spots. You see what I mean? So that swarm, right, the second swarm won't have anybody to help them. So that's the issue. I still want to help them, so I'm still going to go with my jam guy out there. I just won't be able to help them as much. So the second swarm is going to come out. We're going to, you know what? I'm sending 2 swarms onto this map. He's going to pursue as well. We're going to send 3 guys into the box to pursue. These ones will come up so they can pursue next round. And then these ones will come up so they can pursue next round. And we're going to do a magic light show here of destruction. Or at least I think we will. Okay, so move is done, and now we go to cohesion. So this one's a 3. I need a 2 or less. That's a 5. So cohesion fails. So this actually goes to kaput. That's helpful, in fact. This one looks like a wonderful one to attack, but these are 4 zones, 3 plus 1 high. They're coming from the high. So that's not good. And then remember, they have a +1 written on them. So it's even worse. So while this one's juicy, it's not very conducive. So I may have to let those go. So let's start with this one. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then I need a 4th one. I have to pass a collision check, or otherwise I do not get swarm. And I will put the 4th one here, and then I'll send this guy evasive mode there, and he actually has the sun helping him. And yes, we're not going to do those by themselves. We probably should have. I don't know, it's a tough choice. This is a really juicy target here, but I want to make sure these go down. Yeah, I want to make sure these go down. So we'll do it this way. So that's the first wave. Okay, we have the determined, one evasive. Where are they going? The determined guys, all the BF-110s are going to roll towards the sun. I know these numbers are higher. Ooh, no, they're going to roll towards that flank over there. So, and they're going to dive. So they're dive rolling that way. And then this evasive guy, he's going to climb roll. Okay? Yes, that's what we're going to do. So now we do cohesion check. Or not cohesion, collision check. No impact. That would have been perfect. So my paranoia was ill-advised, but that's okay. Let's hope we get a good one like that on the next one. All right, and I'm gonna do the evasive guy first. So we're gonna grab oblique. They're all high, by the way. We're not talking marijuana here, we're just our high altitude. And I do get a rata, so we get to cancel a hit, and I have the swarm. I'm going to do my evasive guy, and here's what's important. The BF-110s don't get experience points. The evasive guy, however, does. So he's in a zone that is a 4, okay? But he gets a -2 because of this, so his zone is 2. So he's coming in high at a 2 evasive, so nothing happens. But he's going to use a swarm to do a hit. And he has the cannon. So he's like the best guy to do hits with. All right, so we have a cannon. I have 4 damage on the thing. And this is a turret damage. That's a turret damage, that's a wing damage. He already has 2 wing damage. He already has 1 turret damage. Oh. Well, we're going to do this because the roll might help us. In this case, I don't mind if we knock him out, because we have plenty of pursuers. Okay, the roll did not help us, so he's going to take 2 wing damage. So now he's at 2, 4, 5, 6 damage. And yes, I'm going to use the last of the swarm. And we drew an engine and a wing. The engine would do 0 damage, but the wing would do 4. 4, 5, 6. So 2, 4, 5, 6 damage. This is 4 damage. This would destroy the plane. We for sure want this one. And I do not want to roll an 8 or better. And then I didn't. Wonderful job, wonderful job. So this is actually one less bomber we have to pursue. So all of those go away. And who is this guy? Who is that masked man? Okay, he's going to progress 2 this way. And Kremler is just rolling in the dough. He just got 2 more experience points, which I'm going to cross out. He just got another. So here's the next one I'm looking at. Aim. If damage result, draw and apply 2 damage markers. So he can use this one to get a guaranteed hit, and then he gets to hit twice. That's almost criminal. So let's add it. If you watch my other video, I actually said this too is a deadly combo. It's just that I want luck first. So the idea is you want to level them up so you can get these awesome skills. And he's finally there, so I'm very proud of him. Okay, we have a destroyed plane, so let's get that out there. And I forgot to give my staff experience, so I get 1, 2, and then I get another victory point. Happy with that. That BF-110 in the front doesn't get to do anything, but I'm okay with that. He's coming from the nose high. we now have a -3, and this is a 2. So he's coming nose high 0. So nose high 0, he has to do a collision check. Now remember, this is a 2, but he adds +1, but this is also a -3. So so it's still a 0. Okay, so we got to do a collision check for this BF110. And it's an exit or pay 1 TP, I believe. Pay the TP cost and the fighter breaks away to the tail. If you do not pay, the fighter exits. I'm okay with him exiting because that means he doesn't get destroyed. So that is a win for me. So I keep that marker out there. And now we have 2 more. Let's go. Let's do this guy all alone up here first. That's a 0. He does add +1, so that's a 3, but there's a -3 there. So this is a nose. They're coming in high. I apologize I didn't put the blue markers out, but they're coming in high from the nose at a 0, and here he takes a hit. Okay, and then he progresses 2, which means we move him up there. Now the hit we're going to cancel with this. So we're good there. Okay, now we're going to do the last 2. Also nose high. They're not 0 though, I don't think. This is a, see, that's a 4, right? And then these things make it a 5, -3, which becomes a 2. So nose high, 2. Nose high, 2. He's going to progress 3, takes a hit, and does a hit. So we said these were all die rolling, so he's going to go this way to there, but he's going to take a hit, and there's nothing I can do to stop that. Nope, nothing I can do to stop that, and that's a bad hit. So we're in trouble with that guy, but he does a hit, which was the really good news. And we have a engine hit. Ooh, we might actually get this one. And we do. So we don't get any pilot experience for this one, but we have another bomber that we're going to put on the map for this turn, turn 5. But the staff gets experience for that, just no pilot. And then the last one we still have to draw for, and it is now a 1 instead of a 2. So nose high 1, and he has to do a collision check. No impact. So the marker goes on, and he progresses 2, so he will also be up here. And then these are now, they're sitting in a 0 zone, because this is a -2. Oh, hold on, they add +1, so they're sitting in a 1 zone. So we have 3 continuing fires. We need, 4 actually. Bear with me, I'm trying to draw cards with one hand. I need to return these cards. Okay, let's do this guy in the back here. That is for sure a 0 for him. And we got a lucky shot. If the pilot is an expert and a bomber is in its space, unfortunately it's not. He's in a space, yes, but the bomber that's in his space is destroyed. So this is normally a wonderful, wonderful one, but he doesn't get to do anything with it. But the good news is he doesn't get hit, so I'm not going to complain about that. He was in evasive mode, so we got to do an evasive return. And that's that with him. Now we have 3 guys back there, and we just calculated that they're sitting on a 1 lethality. The -2 from the kaput, but there's a +1 on each of the planes. And they are, just as a reminder, they're dive rolling. So if we're dive rolling, skip continuing fire. He would have taken damage otherwise. So he's going to return. I'm going to go right to left. Okay, bounced only happens if there's escorts, and it's a 1, so he's fine. So he returns. And then the last one, friendly fire. I'm going to roll. I rolled an odd, which is not good. If odd, skip continuing fire, break away now. Ooh, actually, that was actually better. He would have taken a hit. otherwise. So I know he would have done a hit on the bomber, which would have been nice, but that worked out better, although he still needs a miracle roll to stay in this match. Okay, these matches get a little bit longer because we have a lot more planes moving around, but we actually have another set. Okay, I have another set of 4. I am not going to do anything there. These ones have high numbers, so I'm going to ignore them. So we're actually going to go after this, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 2 in the front are going to go after the one that's already damaged. Which way they're going to go? They're all going to roll this way, and we're going to climb roll that direction because we want to land where the high sun is. And they're all determined because I want to get swarm. And I have to do a collision check now. Oh, I drew 2 of them. All right, so I got an exit unless I pay 2 TP. So let's see here. Pay 2 TP costs and a fighter breaks away to the tail. If you do not pay, it exits instead. Okay, so because they're determined, so here's the deal. I can pay 2 TP, I actually have it. But he's going to break away to the tail, and I lose swarm. So we're in the second to last turn. See that there? We only have 1 more turn. There's no advantage to breaking to the tail. And if he actually stays on the board, he can take damage and continuing fire. So I'm actually going to exit the mission with him. So that's 1 less bomber or fighter I have to worry about. I no longer have swarm. That's the bad news. So I now have 3 high nose checks with no swarm and a sad video maker. So we're just going to start from the top. This one is a 2 plus 1 is 3. So 3 high nose is a collision check. And he's going to progress 3. So the good news is no impact. And he's going to progress 1, 2, and he can't move any further. All right, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to do the bottom guy here. So that's a 3 as well. Nose high 3. Nose high 3. He takes a hit and does a hit. Okay, there's nothing I can do to mitigate the hits. Oh, he takes a hit. Okay, that one is much more manageable. A 3 is not so bad. He's going to progress 3, which just means he goes here. And he actually does a hit, which is the good news. And his hit is 3 damage there. And then we have the last guy here. That is a 2. So nose high 2 is a collision check. Man, when you come in from the nose, there's a lot of collision checks. That makes sense if you think about it. All right, we have a proximity 3, so I need a 4 or better. I rolled a 10. I'll tell you what, losing an auxiliary plane because it collides with the bomber is pretty freaking good. Because, I mean, you're going to lose an OP next mission, but you get a whole victory point for basically losing nothing. Anyways, I'm thinking a little morbidly here. I'm not Japanese. These are German fighters, not Japanese fighters. Okay, those are done. He does progress, so he will go here, like that, and no damage. Okay, so now we have to do continuing fire. These guys are in 3s, and this one's they're all 3s, actually. 1, 2, 3 cards. They're all 3s, they're all climb rolling. I'm gonna go left to right. So we're climb rolling, so we add a +1, so he's actually at a 4. If climbing or climb rolling, he has to break away to tail, but I still have to take the damage, unfortunately. Also not a bad one. So he has to break to the tail. So we're going to return there. Okay, the next one is the guy who's damaged. He's a 3, he takes another damage. I can't keep getting lucky with these. And I did. I got very lucky, in fact. So he returns with damage. And then the last one, of course the 3, is the 1 damage out of the whole thing. And that's what it is. He's damaged. And we got lucky again. Theoretically, if we roll properly, we may not lose any of these guys. Well, that one. That one we might lose. It's like if you guys ever watched the Netflix show Stranger Things, that's the girl by the pool that everybody thinks is going to still be alive. She's not. Okay. Very long attack phase. We are done with the turn. So we're going to move the mission turn up. We are at our last turn of the mission. And by the way, all of these guys are one step down because now we're on the last turn of the mission. So these two are going to break away to pursue. And why not? I'm going to pursue with my FW190s as well. There's no limit to how many people can pursue. Now, hold on a second. If we do damage, we can actually pursue. Oh, always a tough choice. The FW190s will attack because I might be able to take something out. It might be a stupid move, but let's do it. I've never been known to not be stupid. Okay. So for the move phase, nobody else can move because everybody else, well, actually one more person can move. But everybody else is damaged. So now we're going to do recovery. So let's do the big guy here. Big number 8. Oh, actually, no. Look, we got, well, they just moved there. That's right. Okay, so big number 8 there. Oh, look at that. So now watch, I'm going to fail one of these other checks. So we got a 4. I got an 8. So the 4 is gone. Now we got another 4. Got a 6. Now the 2. You would expect us to pass the 2 and watch me roll a 1. Oh, look at that. That was overkill. Every single BF1. Oh no, there's another one. There's a 3 underneath it. That was tricky. Oh, look at that. I got cocky. So this one takes wing damage. I'm going to go sit on the wing. Oh, my BF110s. The Führer is never going to let me. What is it? Kesselrig is never going to let me borrow some more staff ever again. Okay. I think that is everything. So now we have a lot of cohesion checks to do. There's 3 here. Okay, this one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I needed them to fail. If this one would have failed, that plane would have fallen out all on its own. Oh. Okay, this one actually improves. And then here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course that one fails. But that's not bad because it at least becomes loose. It wasn't loose before. And those come off. These come off. All right. These guys that are in the return boxes, this is the final turn of the game, so they're done. We can just take all of them out of the game. There's nothing, they can't get hit because there's no escorts. I know I'm being a little premature following the official rules, but there is nothing that they can do. They are done. Kremler had a nice day. And I'm actually going to keep that cannon right near him there. Okay, so we have 2 attacks with these FW190s. And I could choose not to attack now that I've seen the outcome of this. All right, let's look here. There's some really, those are going to be higher numbers because there's an anchor on the tail. Okay, this guy is anchored tail, and he has no damage on him. These ones are the only juicy targets. That one is a 4, which is reduced by 1, and that's a 4 because we're coming in high. So these are both 3s. I'm coming in with an FW190, which That doesn't matter, but it's a high tail attack, which means at a 4 lethality, there's a good chance I'm going to get hit. I have a boatload of fighters trying to pursue bombers here. There's only 3 bombers that have fallen, and I have 5 fighters chasing them. It would be nice to get one more. So the temptation, of course, is to avoid the collision check and split them apart and do 1 on each. But if I put them together, I can get the Rata bonus. I'm going to put them together, and we're going to go after the front one here. And they're going straight through. They're going to dive. So they're diving towards the nose. Okay? They're going to be determined. And so I have to do, and just to be more formal, sorry, I skip stuff like this once I've played the game enough. But they're doing that, and they're diving straight. Okay, I have to do a collision check. So let's see how this turns out. It's a 2. Uh-oh, I rolled exactly a 2. I think I'm okay. Immediately, if the number rolled is less than the number. Good. All right, so this would normally stay, but it's the final round. There's no more cohesion checks, so I'm just going to toss it. Okay, we got to do some tail attacks. Tail high against this guy. It is a 3 because it's a 4 minus 1. So tail high 3. I did get awarded with the Rata bonus, so I will take that. Yeah, tail high 3. Tail high 3 is a hit. So I will use the bonus on that bomber or fighter. The next one, tail high 3, is 2 hits. Absolutely nothing for my efforts here. Okay, so we have a 4 and an 8 for the second guy. I don't think it matters which one I singled out, but that's okay. All right, and then we have to do continuing fire. If dive rolling, skip. We're not dive rolling, we're just diving. And he's a 3. He takes a hit. So this was just stupidity. This was just absolute stupidity. I'm going to lose 2 OP for being stupid. And that one's actually fine, but he already has 2 other hits on him. So they return. And we're going to have to resolve some damage here. So let's start with the engine guy with 9. Oh my gosh, I rolled a 10. Okay, so he survives and flies home, a lucky gun. Very lucky guy. Okay, this one has an 8 and a 4. So let's do the 8 first. No, I'm going to do the 4 first. Doesn't matter. I rolled a 3. So he's going to go into the... I should have checked. Let me check. The wing needs a 7 to 10, and then the rudder needs a 7 to 10, but he hardly will die with the rudder. So I would have done the rudder check first. I know I'm reneging on my decision, but I was being premature. If I would have thought this through, the rudder is far better than the wing. If I'm going to fail a test, I want to fail the rudder test. Okay, so we're done with the mission portion of this. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the board. And I'm realizing I need to separate some stuff here. These damage come off. Those fighters make it home. And these come off. This comes off. I actually am very pleased with this mission. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen with these two guys, but this has been very good so far. In terms of the number we've knocked out, I'm happy. Now, I hope we get these 3 bombers that are straggling, because right now we're sitting on only 2 victory points, but I'm happy so far. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have to determine my groups. Obviously, I have 2 bombers. I have 3 bombers total. And so what I'm going to do is, the guy who's jammed is for sure going to be paired up with somebody. So these 2 are going to go after this one. This one's going to go there, and then these 2 will go after that guy there, okay? Because I don't know, I can't trust the jam guy to actually get a hit. So, I'm going to, let's do the jammed one first. So I'm going to take these 2 guys off, I'm going to take this bomber off, and I will use 1 tactical point for them. Well, let me make sure. If they have an engine damage, they do, I will not use a tactical point for these guys. Okay, so they have an engine damage, and this is the reason why I didn't use the tactical point, because the engine damage is going to give me tactical points, but look at that, I rolled a 10. This bomber is destroyed, so none of those guys get experience points, but the staff does. So we give ourselves 2 experience and a victory point. So this bomber is gone, and these guys come home. So Buttfargen makes it home, and Schmidt makes it home. So very happy with that. It would have been nice to get them some experience points, but I'm happy with the victory points. Okay, so now we're going to do the next one. This guy's all alone going up against this bomber, and I'm going to spend, so what do we got there? We got an engine damage on that one. I'm going to spend 2 tactical points on this guy. Okay, and so move that over. He has a wing damage, and that's it. So we're going to roll. I rolled a 7. It's not enough. I get to roll for the sun. I rolled an 8. Where is my sun token? Here it is. An 8 is here. And so that's exactly where I'm going to go for my free pass. I will go high. High nose. Do I really want to do this? Riding the tail does so much more damage. Zweigert has not used his luck yet. But you know what? I get the sun advantage, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go nose high. It's a 0. So he takes a hit, and he does a hit. So he takes a hit, he does a hit. Sorry, I didn't have the camera focused here. Takes a hit, and he does a hit. So obviously, he's going to use his luck. So mission 1, luck, to avoid the hit. And he gets to do a hit. He has a cannon, so he's going to get to do 2 hits. And this is where the advanced game gets interesting, because with the cannon, see, like, I get to choose. Like, these symbols mean nothing to me. I don't have to roll anymore. I'm just choosing this side. So I can choose to do another wing, or I can choose a fuselage, and I think this is a no-brainer. I'm doing the wing, and I get to roll a die now for the second row here. And I rolled a 6. Oh, see, now in 1942 that would have been good enough, but it's not here. And then 5 damage would have been good enough, but it's not here. So he makes it to the return box. So I'm going to do a level attack and use a tactical point, just 1. And I know it's a lethality of 2, but I think that gives me the best odds of doing this final hit on him. So I'm going to grab a tail. It's lethality 2. I do a hit and I run out of ammo. Now, running out of ammo means I have to break away, and this bomber is going to get away. But I still get to apply my hit first. So if I can destroy this bomber with this final hit, it doesn't matter if I ran out of ammo. So this is, and there it is. There's our wing damage right there. and we get to choose. So the engine, of course, would give us more tactical points, but right now the smart move is that, the wing. So I put that on and I don't even have to roll. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage on the wing. The bomber is destroyed, and Zweigart gets 2 experience points for that. And then the staff gets 2. Look at the experience points rolling in now. And we get another victory point. And he makes it home safe with no damage. Well done. Well done. You would think that I knew what was going to happen all along. Okay, last but not least are these 2 guys coming in. They're coming in as a group. So this is a very important point that I never explained in the rules. They're coming as a group from the same location, that turn 6. Let's say one of them was on turn 5 and the other one was on turn 6. They would be coming in as 2 groups, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. But that free first pass where you don't spend any tactical points only gets to be applied to one group. Okay? That's a rule I never explained because we've never run into it. I tend to group them together so we never run into this problem. But if you were combining 2 different ones, I think that case with the guy who was out of ammo or had the jam, we may have had that situation there, but the bomber was destroyed and we never had a chance. So they're both coming in as a group because they were together. And so that's part of the reason why you want to keep them together. Just grabbing the damage for the bomber. We do have to roll for the sun here. So the sun would be out. There is no sun this time. Okay, we have an engine damage, so we're going to roll for that. We're going to get 1 tactical point because there was 1 left. Engine damage is a 6, so we just get 2 more. And then we're going to roll for the wing, and the wing damage just goes there. So now we get basically 2 free attacks. Because we get a free pass with 2 guys because they're one group. I don't know if they have to be in the same spot, but I'm going to do the same spot. I will do high nose for both of them because it's free. And so high nose 0 for Bauer first. High nose 0 is a hit and then he runs out of ammo. So he will have to bow out after this. So he has a cannon, so I get to draw 2. So we have a fuselage and a wing, and the wing is all we need. So Bauer is going to get 2 experience points. Because we're going to, well actually that's cockpit. But we're going to choose this one, and you'll see why right there, that's 6 damage. Okay, so the bomber is destroyed, and Bauer gets 2 experience points. He's almost an expert. And the staff gets 2 more. And then 1 victory point. And I still have to draw the card for Grim, because everything's simultaneous. So he was nose 0, high, no damage. So they both make it home safe as well. And I know this was a very long mission. They do get long, but to tally up, we have 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 experience points. We did do a -7, so we only had 3 plus 13. We're sitting on 16 experience points, and we have 5 victory points at the end of the first mission. I think that's pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. We only need 20 to win, and just in 1 mission with an outbound mission. It wasn't even an inbound mission. That's well done. So we got 1 final roll here. Well, 2. But let's start with this BF 110. And we need a 7 to 10. I rolled a 2. So that means it explodes. Okay, that's not good. And we use the bottom row. I need an 8, 9, or 10. Actually, I need a 10. That's the only thing that's going to save me. Okay. So I have -1. So I'm going to do OP -1. Okay. This one didn't make it home. So I'm going to lose an OP next round. And then we got the next guy. I rolled a 1. For Pete's sakes. All right, so now I need a 4 to 10, and I rolled a 2. Okay, so he's wounded, which if it was one of our pilots, that would be good news. But for me, it's not good news. So he does make it home. We get another lost. So we lose 2 OP for those 2. And all I needed was a 4, for Pete's sakes. Good thing I didn't go with whatever the other one was. That would have been, well, it would have been the same outcome. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we are done with the mission. A whole hour and 20 in. So I hope you enjoyed it. That was an exciting first mission. Thanks for watching.